Many video games of the modern era pride themselves in their storytelling. Whether it's a massive, expansive story spanning years worth of lore, building upon previous games, or an incredibly refined, perfected story that only lasts as long as it needs to, with every thought given to ensure that there are no loose ends. And honestly, that's wonderful. The fact that games can convey such amazing feelings with modern technology is a feat. This interactive art form allows you to experience stories like never before. Something no other medium can do in the same way, and game designers should be proud of what they've created. But sometimes I just want to watch a number go up. Survivor-likes are defined by a few unique traits, a variety of characters, a load of unique items, hundreds of enemies to constantly march towards you, and the most basic control schemes known to man, usually consisting of movement controls, a select key, and that's the entire list. They could have just named this genre Detroit Simulator, but then it wouldn't have a loving name of the games that made it popular in the first place, specifically Vampire Survivors, which in turn was inspired by Magic Survival. Upon first glance, you may wonder what the appeal is. Simplistic graphics, little control, no cutscenes, or really any story at all. The most you might get is someone saying, yeah, so time is funky, go kill infinite demons. And boom, you're in. That's it. You have a piddly little pea shooter to start you off, and from there you need to kill enemies to get XP and level up in order to get more ways to attack and make the funny damage number go up. And when you break it down like that, it sounds boring, but you don't get it yet. You just don't understand. The goal of these games isn't to win. It isn't to survive the set amount of time. It's not even to unlock all the achievements. You see, all of these games are designed to outscale you. They're designed to be unwinnable. They're designed to have you play, fail, and then repeat. And so, I'll tell you the goal. I'll tell you how to truly win Survivor-likes, and it's simple. Your mission is to spit in the face of the game. To win a Survivor-like is to destroy a Survivor-like. It is to see the face of infinity and stare back unafraid. When you play, you are legally obligated to create a build so incredibly broken that the game can't keep up. To make the game an auto-battler. It isn't a choice, it is the primal instinct of all gamers to obliterate any sense of balance or challenge a game may hold, to see the numbers rise, to see the speed go up, to see our cooldowns become non-existent, to never see an enemy again because they simply die before making it on screen. That's how you win a Survivor-like. And these tiny games can not only make my dopamine receptors fry out from the sheer amount of giddy, childlike joy I feel while playing them, they can do it for hours. They're designed to be replayable, host a variety of difficulties and unlocks, and perhaps best of all, they're notoriously cheap. Like, ridiculously so, and I want to talk about them. Specifically, I want to talk about 3 that I absolutely loved, and you're gonna sit here and listen, damn it. But first, no, I don't have a sponsor. I just wanted to let you know that I have a tabletop podcast channel called Rooll To. It's me and a few wonderful friends, and I'm currently running a Project Moon-themed campaign in a version of the city you've never seen before. Links are down below, and we just started up again after a huge break, so if you like the sound of my voice and shitty comedy, go check it out. Now, onward to the first game. Brotato is a game I am famously bad at. I don't know if I'm simply bad at builds, perhaps haven't unlocked enough items yet, or maybe I just need to stop walking directly into oncoming enemies. But I'm really bad. But I still have a shit ton of hours in it. You are a potato. master of wielding 6 weapons at once, as all potatoes are. You are being attacked by aliens, and you need to survive 20 rounds in order to win. Each round requires you to last until time runs out, kind of like me at your mom's house, and in between rounds you're granted access to a shop where you can buy items and weapons, kind of like me at your mom's house. Weapons can be anything from a literal rock to a fucking chain gun, and come in different rarities that deal more damage with a lower cooldown. You can equip up to 6 weapons at once, and if you buy multiple weapons of the same type, you can combine them to upgrade their rarity. They also have attributes allowing you to create set bonuses to become even stronger. Items, on the other hand, are passive, increasing a variety of traits, often at the cost of another going down in the process. There are a lot of stats in this game, and most are self-explanatory, but generally speaking, you want all of them to be as high as possible. This leads to a balancing act of deciding which items to take and when, so you don't screw yourself over and start dealing 1 damage with every shot instead of 100. As you pick up money during a wave, you'll also get XP, which allows you to level up your character to increase their attributes without spending any money. The actual stages involve so many things being on screen that you probably can't tell what the fuck is going on. And believe me when I say, that's very normal. Enemies will rush you, fire projectiles, create damaging zones, and spawn other motherfuckers at an unbelievable rate. And your only chance in hell of surviving it is to obliterate their health bars before they have a chance to do anything. It's hectic, it's messy, it's hard as hell, and it's fun as fuck. Not only that, but everything I just said only applies if you're playing certain characters. Out of all the games we'll be talking about, Brotato probably has the most character variety. You have generic characters that don't do much of anything special or are better with a certain type of weapon, or you can become a hyper-specific one-trick pony that's forced into exactly one usable playstyle. Seriously, what the fuck does Cyborg even do? I still don't have any idea. Want to farm cash? Saver or Farmer are going to be your favorite, either increasing their damage for every green dongle you have, or getting more and more cash at the end of every round. Want so much shit on screen that you can't see what's happening? Try Renegade for triple the projectiles. Or maybe you just hate epileptics, and you want your entire screen to flash every millisecond. Behold, the power of Artificer to make bigger explosions. There's a character for everyone here. They're all fun, and somewhere in the game is a build that will fulfill your wildest dreams. As I said before, I'm pretty shit at this game. I only have a few characters beaten on the highest difficulty, but even so I come back to this game probably once a week to have my ass kicked. It's an incredible little time waster, and you'll be surprised by how high it can make your pulse go. It's $5, and honestly the only way you're getting better use out of a $5 bill is if you're defacing currency as a cool pastime. Next game. Death Must Die is about how the god of death has gone AWOL. You play as mortals chosen by the gods to venture into his realm in an attempt to slay him. It is also the most complicated game on this list. In fact, it has 2 extra buttons. I know. Shocking. Unlike others in its genre, Death Must Die does not involve your character attacking automatically. Instead, you need to either toggle auto attack on or click in the direction you want to swing. But you better watch out, as attacking significantly reduces your movement speed. The good news is that even if you're as slow as me when looking at a basic math problem, you'll still have access to your dodge. That's right, this game's second extra control is a motherfucking Dark Souls roll. It gives you brief invincibility and travels a small distance, and you can store 2 of them at once before they need to recharge. As you play, you'll be bestowed blessings by the other gods, allowing you to draft new abilities from their unique pools. The God of Justice might grant you a free hit, or increase your health regeneration, while the God of War is a bit more direct. They're all super cool and offer interesting abilities that can significantly affect how you play the game. They also have incredible designs, with summer and winter being red hot and ice cold mommies respectively, Times secretly being the most jacked man in existence, and Mort being your typical Hot Topic worker. Guys, I swear I can fix her. I promise, please, just give me a chance, I can fix her. But none of these second-rate gods come even close to the Fates.
We can't read Times, so, I find them a bit scary. You get scared by your own shadow. Don't mind my sister. She doesn't like anything that she can't foresee. That's not true. I love an exception, an anomaly. It's not real. You can't feel the real thing. But Oh, hey, hero. Oh, we nearly forgot you were there, it seems. Where were you headed then?
I fucking love the Fates. Their names are Isa, Lachi, and Chloe, but I prefer Snippy, Sleepy, and Schizo. Let me tell you all something. There are two things I love in games: characters that use sewing as an aesthetic, and luck-based builds. The Fates are both of those things. Their design is incredible, boons are fun, and their voice acting is great. But you don't get to just pick your gods, you also get to pick your character, and all of them have their own unique personality that's apparent through the way they speak. There's Averon, your basic bitch knight who talks like your grandpa texting, Maris, an elemental sorceress who uses emoticons and acts like that weird horse girl in your class, you know the one, Nixie, the assassin who talks like an internet shitposter, Krant the barbarian who can barely complete full sentences, and Scotty, the androgynous warrior who doubles as the best character in the game. All of them have unique ways of attacking and start with different health, but as you play and unlock achievements, you'll also acquire signs for them that affect how they play. These neat little passives can be as simple as gaining movement speed every few levels, or completely alter how you build the character, like making armor increase your damage instead of your resistance. Not only that, but there's an entire Diablo-style equipment system for each character, allowing you to essentially permanently upgrade their stats or increase the odds of getting specific traits. It is incredibly fun, amazingly designed, hosts great characters, and just looks beautiful. It's definitely the coolest looking game on this list, at least in my opinion, and whoever did the pixel art portraits deserves some real praise. There is one problem with this game though. It doesn't have enough. Death Must Die is in early access right now, and you can definitely feel it. There's only a few characters with a few signs each, and one stage. There's a difficulty system that's really cool, but it gets old pretty quick. There are only 8 gods and only so many boons, meaning that you frequently have very similar builds across multiple runs. Don't get me wrong, it's crazy fun to raise a skeleton army so big that bosses just disappear when they spawn, but I can only do that so many times.
What is this?
There's also a lot of voice acting, and as I said before, it's really good, but not all of the lines are voice acted yet, so sometimes a god shows up and just stands there awkwardly. Damn, he really be just like me trying to talk to women. The good news is that the game is getting frequent updates, with one releasing early this year that'll add a new ranger character, an entirely new god, and a second stage to the game. That's super exciting, and I'm really glad to see this game getting attention, because if it had more stuff, it might be my favorite on this list. Death Must Die is $7 on Steam, which is way more worth it than rent. Just forget about that. Next game. While I love Brotato's in-depth systems and difficulty, and I adore the overall look and sound of Death Must Die, they unfortunately cannot compete with what is simply the best. Vampire Survivors is the game that put the genre on the map, the game that broke through to the public eye and to this day is still getting people to try it out. Vampire Survivors is the Survivor-like, and for a fantastic reason. This game is digital heroin. Out of the 3 games we're discussing, Vampire Survivors is by far the simplest. The only thing that you need to do is move and pick an upgrade. No stat balancing like Brotato, no dodging and attacking like Death Must Die, you just need to move around and select your upgrade when you level up. Simple as that. Your little dude attacks on his own, and you can hold up to 6 weapons and 6 passives at once. Weapons could be this little whip that hits an area in front of you, or maybe garlic that causes a small damaging AoE. Basic things like that. Items like the spinach can increase all the damage you deal, or increase the area of your attacks like the candelabra door. Every time you level up, you can either pick something new from your options, or upgrade something you already have. Maybe your garlic zone gets bigger, or your fireballs deal even more damage. It's unbelievably simple, but you can already see that numbers start to rise. You know the one that's in the title. That little number that pops up saying that you're doing good. You're dealing more damage, you're winning. But that's just the start. The main mechanic in Vampire Survivors is the weapon evolutions. See, if you pick up certain combinations of weapons and items, and your weapon is at its max level, then the next time you open a chest, one of your weapons might evolve. If you have rune tracers, these little projectiles that bounce around your screen, as well as the armor to reduce damage, you'll get no future. An upgraded rune tracer that triggers a huge explosion when it bounces off a wall. If you have the King Bible, which orbits around your character, as well as the Spellbinder, which increases the duration of your weapon effects, you get the Unholy Vespers, a Bible that never stops spinning, turning you into a human buzzsaw. And finally, perhaps my favorite weapon in the entire game. There are guns in this game that shoot out projectiles towards your diagonals. If you have both of them, as well as Triugisu? Tirigisu? I don't speak Italian, which gives you free revives, then you can combine them into Fairagi. Fairagi? Fuck, dude, I don't speak Italian. A rotating series of lasers that pierce all enemies and walls. This shit is awesome, and creating builds to get as many evolutions as possible is super fun. And honestly, that on its own would be enough. That's enough dopamine to get me to play the game. But that's not where they stopped. In fact, that's just the beginning. Remember how I said you can only hold 6 weapons and 6 passives? Well, some stages have random items scattered around the map that you can collect, and those don't count towards your cap, meaning that you could potentially have way more than just a measly 6 of each. How about golden weapons like this funny bird? You can still upgrade it after you evolve it. Or how about arcanas, passives that you can select at the start of each stage to influence how this game is going to play? What about all these permanent upgrades, everything from re-rolling items to bonus damage to firing more projectiles? How about all these characters, all gaining stats differently and starting with different weapons? How about an entire quest line in the DLC to fight a giant boss? This game just has so much content. There's tons of achievements, so much to unlock, to find, to explore and figure out. And it never once feels like a grind, because every time you play, you become this god of death, obliterating everything that comes near you, and it's so fun. Normally your weapons cap around 9 levels, but there's an option to get infinite upgrades, which leads to shit like this. It's great, and Vampire Survivors has finally hit critical mass. It's starting to spread. The best part of this game, the Among Us DLC. I bet you thought that was a fucking joke, didn't you? But no, there's Among Us in this game now. And honestly, it's the most fun I've had in the game so far. It's not cringe, it's not boring, it's not lazy. This DLC rules! It adds a ton of new characters and items, all adapted super well from Among Us, which is a sentence I never thought I would say, but it's true. There's an entirely new map and tons of stuff to find and unlock in it, with a special final boss. Not to mention, it's just the funniest shit imaginable when you're playing multiplayer and an Among Us pops up in the treasure screen. This is comedy gold.
That's the case.
Yeah, this is an awesome map. This is a really good one. Holy shit. Among Us! Seeing Among Us pop up on the right is a treat.
What do you guys stream? I want to.
I will.
Yeah, go for it. Oh, did I mention that there's multiplayer? Yeah, it's only local right now, or over Steam streaming, but it works great. It limits the number of items each player can have to make you really think about who should take what, but otherwise is pretty much the same Vampire Survivors experience. Except you'll be playing in black and white half the game because your stream can't handle the bitrate, but that's how you know you're winning. There's just so much love and care put into this game. It looks really solid too. These simplistic little sprites really convey a lot. And the music is amazing. They have a jukebox where you can select what track you want to listen to in character select, and they went above and beyond on these. There are a couple tracks in the game that are really fucking good. So good that they have two versions. A regular one, and a kazoo cover. And the kazoo cover fucking rules. It's so good. I don't know how. It was funny at first, it made me giggle, but now this is the only music I listen to in the game. It's actually so good. The craziest thing is that this game isn't done being updated. In fact, the team behind it has only grown. They just put out a roadmap for 2024 with tons of stuff on it, including trying to get online multiplayer to work. It's great, and I'm so happy to see the game keep getting content, even if I have to chase that glorious 100% completion every time. Oh, and surprise, surprise, the devs are currently looking for an animation studio to make a fucking animated series about the game. That's just insane, and I'm so happy to see what started as practically a one-man project turn into something as big as this. I'm gonna watch every episode. You can't stop me. Vampire Survivors is $5, which is insane. It also has 3 DLCs right now, with Tides of the Foscari and Legacy of the Moonspell being only $2 each, and Emergency Meeting is $2.50. That brings your grand total to $11.50, and if you can find better value than that, I'll eat my fucking cat. Go buy it. It's worth that price, and so much more. The survivor-like genre as a whole is simply beautiful. We're in a day and age where everyone seems to focus on massive stories and hyper-realism, and that's fine. But I'd rather look at a pixelated little guy run around shooting 40 million projectiles any day, and all 3 of these games achieve that beautifully. If you've never played a survivor-like, go grab Vampire Survivors and give it a shot. I promise it's worth your time. And if you've already played Vampire Survivors and loved it, then maybe I've given you some others to try out, especially the rising star of Death Must Die. These are some of my favorite games of all time, and I just have to reiterate how good they are for the price. It's insane that this level of content and quality can be sold for so cheap, and it gives everyone a chance to experience some great stuff without paying $70 for a half-baked product. Go give them a try and tell me your favorite in the comments below. I'll see you soon.